my friends, Dan Campbell didn't waste a second putting the NFL on notice this week, and you can feel the difference in Detroit. The bye came at the perfect time, not just for rest but for reflection, and Campbell's words after it hit like a jolt of electricity through the fan base. He said this team hasn't yet played its best football collectively in all three phases, and when a coach who preaches grit and execution says that about an already top 10 offense and top-tier defense, it makes you believe there's still another level coming, and that's exactly what the league should be worried about. Come with me, drop a like to show some support, and let's go. For years, the Lions' story was about offense carrying the weight, light up the scoreboard, pray the defense could hang on, and hope for a big turnover or two to survive. But now, it's different. This team is balanced, resilient, and most importantly, healthy. The Lions rank 8th in total offense, 3rd in points scored, and 11th in point differential. That's what Campbell means by complementary football. You can see it on every snap. Defense feeding the offense, offense rewarding the defense, special teams making key plays. It's the kind of complete formula championship teams are built on, and the Lions are finally built that way. The most underrated part of this surge isn't flashy stats or viral moments. It's health. You can sense the momentum shifting simply because players are returning. Malcolm Rodriguez is finally back from injury, and the energy around his return says it all. Fans are dropping 44s in the comments because everyone knows what he brings: toughness, speed, and a fire that perfectly fits this defense's identity. Rodrigo has always been the kind of player who turns a good unit into a great one through effort alone. Add that to the fact that guys like Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed, and Marcus Davenport are all close to returning, and suddenly Detroit looks deeper, faster, and more dangerous on both sides of the ball. That's what makes this moment feel so different. A year ago, a handful of injuries could derail the Lions' rhythm completely. Now, when a player is released, like Kyle Fuller from the practice squad, fans aren't panicking. It's the opposite. It means players are coming back. It means reinforcements are healthy. And for a team chasing the ultimate goal, that's exactly what you want in late October. The Lions are managing their roster like a contender. No desperation, no patchwork signings, just confident, calculated moves. And let's not overlook the guys holding the line while starters healed. Backups have stepped in and done their jobs. No drop-off, no excuses. That's a credit to the coaching staff and the locker room culture. Every player understands their role, and everyone's bought in. It's the same mentality Campbell preaches every week. Next man up, stay ready, don't flinch. The matchup against Minnesota this Sunday feels like a statement opportunity. Detroit enters as 8.5-point favorites, and there's good reason for that. The Vikings are banged up, dealing with quarterback uncertainty, and might be forced to start rookie J.J. McCarthy in what could be his debut against one of the hottest defenses in football. That's not an ideal scenario for a first start, especially with the Lions coming off rest, reloaded, and ready to swarm. And honestly, this feels like the worst timing possible for Minnesota. Detroit's defense is flying to the ball, pressuring quarterbacks, and feeding off takeaways. The offense, after facing a brutal stretch of elite defenses, is itching for a breakout game. When Campbell said we're sharpening ourselves, that wasn't coach speak, it was a warning. Expect the offense to explode. Expect the defense to keep its edge. And if the Lions play their brand of football, this could get out of hand fast. But the story goes deeper than one game. The NFC North is tightening, and every week matters now. Detroit sits at number 2 in the division, right behind the Packers, who've managed to hang on through an easier stretch of games. But that won't last forever. Thanksgiving is circled on every Detroit fan's calendar, the rematch against Green Bay. That's the one that could flip the standings, take the number 1 spot, and establish the Lions as not just playoff locks, but true NFC power players. Campbell knows it, the players know it, and fans can feel it. So here's the question, Lions fans, do you believe this team has finally turned the corner? With the roster getting healthy, the defense tightening up, and Dan Campbell pushing for complete, complementary football, are the Lions about to hit the best stretch of their season? Because if what we saw before the bye was the Lions at good, then what's coming next might be something entirely different. Dan Campbell's team is entering that rare zone where confidence meets execution, where the culture they built over the past 3 years starts to cash in on all the pain, all the rebuilding, and all the waiting. You can feel it in the locker room, in the press conferences, and even in the way players carry themselves. This group knows they belong. The key difference this time is maturity. A season ago, even when Detroit was surging, they still played with that edge of desperation, like they were trying to prove something. Now, the vibe is colder, calmer, more businesslike. When Campbell talks about sharpening in all 3 phases, you can sense that players aren't celebrating their success. They're dissecting it. They're not content with being good enough. This team wants to dominate, And that starts up front. Taylor Decker getting that extra week to rest his shoulder couldn't have come at a better time. Detroit's offensive line has been the foundation of everything: Jared Goff's rhythm, the run game's balance, and the protection that allows Ben Johnson to open up the playbook. With Decker healthier and Penei Sewell continuing to look like the best right tackle in football, this offense can go back to what it does best: controlling the tempo, leaning on the ground game, and punishing defenses with play action. Now combine that with a defense that's getting its depth back, Alan McNeil fully healthy and dominating, Josh Paschal ramping up, and Malcolm Rodriguez easing back into the rotation, and it feels like Detroit's about to get even nastier in the trenches. That's where they win games. The Lions don't need trick plays or miracle throws. They wear you down. They bully you for 4 quarters until you tap out. That identity hasn't changed. It's just evolving into a more complete version of itself. Then there's the secondary, quietly one of the most improved units in football. Once Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed are fully back, and Kirby Joseph finds his rhythm again, this defense could reach top 5 potential. And remember, Brian Branch is returning too, bringing that burst and attitude that makes the nickel spot a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. When you see that kind of talent finally syncing up with Aaron Glenn's scheme, it's easy to understand why Campbell keeps stressing complementary football. That's what separates contenders from pretenders in November and December. The Lions have seen what happens when one side of the ball carries too much of a load. They lived it, but this version of Detroit, healthy, balanced, and mentally locked in, doesn't need to rely on luck or hope anymore. They're built to win in multiple ways, and they'll need every bit of that versatility heading into the next stretch. The schedule tightens fast: a crucial game against Minnesota, then the showdown with Green Bay, followed by the heavyweight battle with Philadelphia. Those are the measuring stick games, the ones that define how far this team can really go. Beat those teams, and suddenly you're not just talking about playoffs. You're talking about seeding, about home field advantage, about playing meaningful football in January at Ford Field. What's wild is that it doesn't even feel far-fetched anymore. A few years ago, just being in the playoff hunt would have felt like a miracle. Now, the Lions are being judged on how dominant they look while chasing the NFC's top spot. That's what culture does. That's what patience builds. So as we head into this next phase, with the Lions healthy, confident, and staring down their biggest test yet, the question for the fans becomes even more exciting. Are you ready to believe this team can take that final step? Are you ready to see Detroit not just compete, but take control of the NFC and finally deliver the kind of season fans have dreamed about for decades? Because the pieces are there. The roster is loaded. The leadership is steady. The locker room is unified. Everything points to one thing: the Lions are ready. If you believe in this team and what they're building, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more Lions content, and stay tuned. We'll be live for Sunday's game against the Vikings. Drop your score predictions in the comments below, and tell me what you think. Is this the beginning of the Lions' true run to the top? Let's hear it, Detroit. And as the week goes on, you can feel that quiet anticipation building, that mix of focus and hunger that defines teams with something real on the line. The Lions aren't treating this like just another regular season game. They know what it means to take care of business now, before the final stretch tightens and every possession, every snap, every inch starts to carry playoff weight. This isn't about hype anymore, it's about execution. Inside Allen Park, the message from Campbell and his staff is clear: don't let up. The bye gave them rest, but it didn't dull their edge. Practices have been intense. Coaches are pushing tempo, drilling fundamentals, emphasizing discipline. You can tell Campbell's approach has shifted from building belief to enforcing standards. And it shows. This team isn't satisfied with close wins or flashy stats. They want clean football, no mental lapses, and dominance across all 3 phases. That mindset starts with the leadership in the locker room. Jared Goff has embraced the role of comm commander, the steady presence this franchise needed for years. He's not chasing headlines or stats. He's managing games, reading defenses, and putting the ball where it needs to be. The chemistry with Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to define this offense, but what's even more encouraging is how the entire receiving core has evolved. Jameson Williams is slowly finding his rhythm, Josh Reynolds keeps doing the dirty work, and Sam Laporta, well, he's already playing like a veteran Pro Bowler. You combine that with the backfield duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery finally healthy together again, and you start to realize just how loaded this offense truly is. And then you look at the defense, and it's hard not to get excited. Alan McNeil has been an absolute force in the middle. Aiden Hutchinson continues to terrorize quarterbacks, and with players like Davenport and Rodriguez returning, this front seven might be the most complete unit Detroit has fielded in decades. Add in Jack Campbell's growing confidence in Alex Anzalone's leadership, and the heart of this defense looks locked in for the long haul. You can see it in the way they fly to the ball. No hesitation, no second guessing, just trust in each other. That's what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built. Trust. It's not flashy, but it's the foundation of everything. Every player knows his role, and more importantly, believes in the man next to him. That's what's fueling this run, and it's exactly why the Lions are more dangerous now than they've ever been, because they're not relying on one superstar to carry them. They're winning as a unit. Still, there's a bigger picture here, the NFC race. The Eagles, 49ers, and Cowboys all sit near the top, but Detroit's path is right in front of them. Win the division, take care of business against the Packers and Vikings, and they're in prime position to push for the #1 seed. Imagine Ford Field hosting playoff games. That place will erupt. The noise, the energy, the emotion, it's the kind of advantage teams dream about. But the Lions aren't dreaming anymore. They're preparing. They've been through the grind, through heartbreak, through rebuild after rebuild. This isn't the same Detroit that used to collapse under pressure. This is a team built for it. Campbell's not out here talking about moral victories or building for the future. He's talking about championships, about standard, about execution. And you can tell his players believe it. So as kickoff approaches, one thing feels certain. The rest of the league better be paying attention. The Detroit Lions are no longer the feel-good story. They're the real story, a team with bite, balance, and belief. Every game now is a test, every opponent a potential statement. And if they keep stacking wins, if they keep playing that brand of complete, physical, complementary football Campbell preaches every week, then all roads could lead through Detroit. So, Lions fans, it's your turn. What do you think? Have we finally reached that moment where Detroit isn't chasing anyone anymore, but setting the pace for the rest of the NFC? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, subscribe if you believe this is our year, and stick around for the next video, because we'll break down Sunday's matchup in detail and dive into how Detroit can make its playoff push even stronger. Stay tuned, Lions Nation, we're just getting started.